Yo, what's up, everyone? It's your boy, Jack OATz to go. You either know or you don't. Thank you guys so much for clicking on the video, looking at it, listening. You guys are awesome. So, first order of business, as you guys should know, I'm trying to get to 3.5K subscribers on YouTube right now before the end of November. So if you can help me out with that, that'd be great. But also, don't subscribe if this is just not your thing. Give this a few listens, look at some other videos, see if you even like it. If you don't, no need to come back, right? But yeah, that is my goal. If you'd like to help me out with that, I'd appreciate that a whole lot. You can also find me on Twitter, where I also post just as much crackhead stuff on there as I do on here, if not more. But anyway, today I wanted to talk a little bit more about our favorite, Megicula, okay? Now, there's a couple things, and a lot of you that are new to the channel and to my Twitter pretty much found me off of this, if you're recent. So I would just like to explain the thought behind it, right? So in my most current theories, it's not really current. I've known who Megicula was. I just didn't have her pinned down 100%. I was like at 90%. So about a year ago, when we were first introduced to her, I said that this is probably Black Clover's version of Lilith. And then the first gates open up and we have Nama and Lilith. And I'm like, oh shit, this is not Lilith. Like, who is it? But she matches every description that you can find on both Lilith as a being and as a class of demons, a succubus. And you can only find those in the first two clips in the OATz. So I'm thinking, like, what kind of black magic is Tabata pulling off right now? This doesn't make any sense. But in further reading, there are three versions of Liliths, or there are three sisters related to Lilith. And one of those sisters' names is Aishet. The other one is also Nama, as we know. But Aishet, I believe, let's see what it says here. I always get it mixed up as if she's the younger or the eldest one. I feel like she's the eldest. But here we have the symbol of the invocation sigil of Aishet and Zenonim, who I believe is Megicula. Now, if we look at the sigil, this really does look like the end of her tale. And for, I guess we can only really say this about Dante, but his tail and the symbol on him perfectly describe what he does, and it's the symbol of gravity. Pretty simple. And Megicula has this symbol on the chest of Annika and on her tail, and for a long time, a lot of us YouTubers are looking at, like, okay, what is this? Like, what does this mean? Is it like an element? What is this symbol? And this is it. So I'm just going to read what it says here, and we'll go a bit more in depth with it. So this is talking about the preparations, but the sigil represents the serpents of Lilith and Samael. Now, for those that aren't familiar, Lilith is, in a few philosophies, actually the serpent that tempts Eve into eating the apple, and not Satan. And in other philosophies, they have the serpent as Samael if it's not Lilith. So they have them both as serpents, and they are consorts as well. So the sigil represents the serpents of Lilith and Samael entwined, forming the astral womb of the dark goddess and Aishet's unholy grail, from which the initiate drinks the blood of the moon. The shape resembles a heart, typifying the sexual character of the Gnosis. The moon dripping blood is symbolic of Gamaliel, the astral garden ruled by the harlot, which will be coming out on Thursday at 12 o'clock on the dot. Be there. It goes in depth about the Gamaliel. But this is symbolic of Aishet. Now, remember, Aishet on Crowley's Clipot is the ruler of the Satariel, which is part of the highest triad in the underworld. So they have her here, and they mention the Gamaliel, and you're probably thinking, like, why? But in one of my previous videos, I believe it was maybe 2 or 3 videos ago, I show you guys exactly where Megicula looks over. And it's the first and second spheres where Lilith and Nama just came through, and also the Cetariel, which is where Lucifuge Focal also resides. So she has 4 places, actually, because she also is considered the womb of the abyss, which is Dot, which we talk a whole lot about on this channel. But she mates with Samael, and they create the beast that corresponds to 666, otherwise known as the Antichrist, and the false Messiah. There are 2 of them, Kiowa and Belphegor, which, for you guys that are new, I believe are Dante and Morris's devils, that are fused and are posing as Lucifero. So I found this, and I'm just thinking, like, wow, this is it. This is the symbol that she's got on her tail. I mean, it does describe her to an extent. I mean, this is gold. But I kept reading because I was very curious, because this article is called "The Four Prostitutes." The 4 angelic prostitutes? What is this called? The 4 angels of prostitution. That's probably the nicest name I've come across for them. If I said the other ones, I might get demonetized. Psych, not even monetized. They call them whores. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. So I also found this sigil of Lilith. It's the invocation sigil. And I'm looking at it, I was like, no. Like, I did a whole, like, quintuple take. I was like, I'm not looking at what I'm looking at right now. Because in my head, I went straight to Lilith and Nama fused. It was like their eyes on top of each other. And it's 2 beings creating this, the 2 serpents. And I'm like, there's no way. Like, did I actually find some source material that Tabata is using? Like, did I actually do it this time? So I kept reading, because there was the 4 sisters. And for those of you that have been sticking around, you guys know I've been having a very tough time finding information on the 4th sister. Now, this is not a version of Lilith, to my understanding. This is actually a completely separate entity. And there is really not much on this sister. And it was a little frustrating because I'll let you know. Let's take a look at Megicula right now. This Megicula is not the same Megicula that we were introduced to. The Megicula that we were introduced to had 2 curling horns that Megicula here does have on the back of her head. But she's got 2 extra horns, and now all of a sudden there's a 3rd eye. So what's going on? And nothing in the silhouette corresponded to these sacks all over her body. Nothing in that was like, yeah, that's her. And if anything, the hands are also different. They're more claw-like when we see the silhouette behind Vonica. Now, back up a second. We know that the silhouettes of devils in Black Clover are not the most accurate thing ever, right? We saw that with Liabe. Perfectly okay. One thing we've never seen is a complete switch up on the horns. We've never seen that, ever. So what's the deal? So in my head, we have to go with what we have for right now, okay? We see Lilith and Nama. I believe the main purpose for them right now was to set us up and take a quick look back at what we were introduced to already. And we see that devils with 4 horns, for the most part, are fused. Just like Lilith and Nama. They had 2 horns, they fused, they got 4. But the problem here is, now, we have 4 horns, but where are the extra set of wings if she's fused with something else? So, my thing is that it is possible that either Megicula or this other being that we're going to talk about does not actually have wings. or they're just not visible. I would probably go with the latter on that. So, the fourth sister, her name is Agrit Bat Malet. Okay? So, I'm going to read what it says here. I know it looks really small on your screen, but I'm going to read exactly what it says. Part of this is just the invocation, like how you do it. Don't do it. Unless you're trying to become a god, I guess. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, but I'd advise against it. So it's talking about the mage and envisioning themselves going into a cave. And so this cave extends into a corridor leading deep into the body of the dark goddess. And the corridor itself is her living flesh as well. While the gate of Nama is the vulva of the dark goddess, the tunnel, the antifaxith, represents the passage to her womb. This is the tunnel between Faxith. I believe that is between Gamaliel and Namad. If not, it's between Satariel and Thamael. One of those. It is lit by blood-red light that shines from afar and from the end of the corridor, and it is warm and alive like living flesh. There is also the smell of female sexual fluids in the air mixed with the smell of menstrual blood that drips from the walls of the tunnel. Now, a lot of this could be X-rated, but consider we do have blood mages, and all our blood mages are women, and there's a good reason for that. This is feminine magic. Blood has a lot of ties, and I just talked about this in the video that I have set up for Thursday that talk about Lilith and Gamaliel in the clip art. So stay tuned for that, but this is not just to be blatantly sexual or anything like that. This is actually vividly represented in Black Clover, just in a shonen type of way. Pretty clever to me. In this blood-red light, Agrit is seen only as the dark silhouette of a young girl with long, straight hair, dancing and moving in a slow, sensual way, inviting you to follow and partake in her sexual mysteries. I'm going to see which part of this is actually relevant. I think I can skip the rest. Yeah, there you go. So they talk about this girl as a dark silhouette. This is not someone that you just outright see. And I was actually on a call with Broku over the weekend and talking about a collaboration video, and I brought up Megicula, and we kind of talked about what we see with Megicula, and one of those things that no one's really mentioned is that there's this mist radiating from her. And it's constant. This isn't just like when she was first introduced or anything like that. This has been constant. Every panel she's in, that mist is there. And the reason it might be there is that this might be an attribute of the fourth sister, Agrit Bat Malet. And this is why we see Megicula not in a form that we were introduced to, but in this form. Now, in this, it makes it seem like Agrit Bat Malet is a big seductress. Liliths are seductresses, but it seems like here, this is the main one. And it brings up that there's a smell of female sexual fluids in the air. Now, I made a tweet kind of alluding to this, but I was thinking and it was concerning the mist that's around her. It was concerning the possibility that this could be like a pheromone that makes it so that possibly, I'm just spitballing, but possibly like males have a hard time finding it within themselves to fight her. And this is probably a proximity thing as well, because we haven't really seen anyone really close to Megicula except for a guy Gaja, but he was in there quick and he was out. So I don't know. But it was really just spitballing. I'm not saying that's going to happen for sure. But there are elements here that we do need to consider. And I'm thinking Agrat might not be your typical devil that has has wings and all that good stuff. And the tail is the same for Magicula. Like, Agrat might not have, a tail. However, in some other descriptions, she has bat-like wings and hooves. So that's something that could, disprove what I'm saying. However, we can't overlook that this is not the Megicula that we got originally. And this seems like a big step up from what we were supposed to get. So we'll see, but I do think there is the fourth sister at play there. This is going to be a very short video. I just wanted to show you guys what I found, my thoughts on it. But you guys let me know what you think about this in the comment section below or on Twitter. Continue rocking with me. Making more videos about the Clipbot and the demons that reside in it and the role of it. So the Draconian Path series is probably going to be pretty lit. So stay tuned. Put those noties on if you like it. Subscribe if you like this channel. If not, it was nice having you for the video. See you around. Hit me up on Twitter, though. It'd be lit. Anyway, you guys stay safe. Stay out the way. This has been Jack OATz to go. You either know or you don't.